This is the one. Select stream. Let's go. All right, all right. Looks like we're live. So, if you are here, I appreciate you being here. If you're here, we're gonna do some live mixing. We got the console one fader. You know what I'm saying? So,
all right.
I kind of just cracked it open
live.
yesterday. So, and let me turn on my mic a little bit.
You are
Yeah, I kind of cracked this thing open a little bit yesterday, and
if you're here,
got it all set
we're
up.
gonna do some live
mixing.
mixing.
We got the console one fader. You know what I'm saying? So,
right,
so I had to. I kind of just cracked it open yesterday, which I got to figure it out. So, and let me turn on my mic
if everything is updated,
yeah, I kind of cracked this thing open
I
a little bit
appreciate you
yesterday,
being
and
here.
then what's it called? It's a pretty easy installation, to be honest. You know, like I said, I just had to update the software and stuff within the console, and then obviously, as far as like my software on the computer, that was already up to date, because you know, I do use their products or whatever, so that was up to date. But otherwise, if you were just to get this straight out of the box and plug it in, I mean, it pretty much works exactly how it's advertised or whatever. And specifically Pro Tools, from the reason I got it is because all the research I was doing, it seemed like this one, besides obviously the Avid one, is going to work best with Pro Tools if you're a Pro Tools user. They're always updating this, it seems like. From my understanding, it seems like everybody is pretty happy with it, that need faders and don't want to use the, you know, the SSL one. I had the SSL UF1, and I don't know, I just didn't like, and I know it was only the UF1, and not to say that it's completely different from the UF8 as far as like the workflow, because it's not. The workflow and the software is going to be the same no matter how, you know, how many faders you have or whatever. But it's just seemed like when I was using it, which I understand that they're trying to, you know, make it work with every DAW, so they're trying to give you as much features and controllability as you would need. But I feel like I personally don't need that much control, you know? Which is why I liked this. I know for sure there are going to be, I'm going to make a video on this. So if you want to see a video on me actually going through like how I'm going to use this and how I plan on using it basically, or, you know, just my thoughts on it or whatever. So I'll probably give it like a week or two, maybe 2 weeks, and make a video on this and how I'm liking and stuff. But for how I want to use it and for how I want to use a control surface like this, it was either between the Avid S1, which obviously makes sense because it's an Avid product, and then versus the Console One fader. And I, you know, obviously I was considering getting the UFA, and I almost did, but yeah, like I said, just like even the thought of like trying to get used to their workflow, which I had the UF1 right when it came out. I had it for like the entire summer, I think it was. And don't get me wrong, I liked it, but it just gave me too much, and I was just like, I don't need all this. I just need faders, which I'll go through today a little bit. And like I said, I'll make a dedicated video on why exactly I chose this and all the features that I need. But this basically was the closest thing to the Avid Surface. Obviously, the Avid S1, you know, that's like the Rolls Royce, I guess I would say, as far as like for YouTube, or not for YouTubers, for Avid users, I would say that's like, you know, the top notch, whatever. And obviously, it's a no brainer because it's an Avid product. It makes sense. So, oh, hold on, let me fix this. But in the background, I'll fix this. Yeah, so let me get this out the way. Yeah, so I mean, you know, basically like I said, the real reason I got it is just because it was the closest thing to the S1, and I just didn't need all the features that the UF8 or the SSL stuff has, because I know it's, which is another thing, because like I did want the soft keys and stuff. I was like, oh, maybe I can make use of it and I can program some stuff. But to be honest, like at least as of this video, as of this year, you know, March 12th, I didn't, it didn't give enough options for me to be like, oh, that's like a very useful like soft key thing or whatever, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I think with this, I just didn't need all that, you know what I'm saying? And I know I keep saying that, but the console one just has almost the only important stuff that you would need. Like for me personally, I just need faders. I need obviously for automation and stuff, I just need a little bit of control and visual aspect of the screen or whatever. Um, and then to be honest, I mean, I'm gonna dig into it and I'm gonna try to use it, but I just don't see myself using their software, like their built-in console. Not to say that I don't have anything against it. It's just personally for my workflow. I'm just trying to use faders, get a quick mix going, and obviously do some automation and stuff. And to be honest, the in paging through my session and stuff, like I'm quick with the mouse and keys. Don't get me wrong, and like I know it's going to be a little hard for me to try to integrate it because I will make it work and I will integrate it. And not to say like I think that's like the biggest mistake is people get these, or I watch like a lot of the reviews and stuff and they're trying to make it seem like it's gonna replace your keyboard and mouse, which I think is the wrong way to. Oh, I can't even fix my stream. Doesn't matter. Okay, but which is like the wrong way to hello, um, think about it. I think, in my opinion, I think that I just have so many screens right now. I just think that yeah, I'm using my laptop screen or my laptop. It's not that bad for what it is. Uh, I just think that it's not the right way to approach it. I think that if you're gonna get faders, like use it for the faders. Get your balance. I feel like it'll get you more in tune with the music, I guess, if that makes sense. And the biggest thing for me is like I just don't want to look at the screen as much anymore. I try not to. And yeah, I mean, I just think that's the biggest thing for me. It's just like I just don't want to look at the screen. I need faders for automation and obviously getting a balance and stuff. And the bare minimum of the metering and stuff is whatever. I can see it in Pro Tools. I just think that um, I don't know. For me personally, that's really all I need, to be honest with you. And the panning and stuff too, because I do like panning with like knobs and stuff. And that's why I was like, when I had the UF1, which is another reason I got rid of it, besides the fact that I didn't really like the workflow, I just was like, all right, I need more faders. One is not going to do it. I just want to be able to throw stuff up. It's going to take some time for me to do it, to learn all that stuff. But um, otherwise, I think like I said, this is like the bare minimum, like what I personally need for it. And like I said, if you want to see an in-depth video or whatever, maybe I can get it out quicker or something. But it is something I'm going to put out in a couple weeks on my dislikes about it, my likes. It's mostly likes about it. There's a few dislikes that I can think of. Like for instance, what I noticed last night is there's no jog wheel. Obviously you can page and stuff, through your session or whatever, and it follows. That's another thing too, is that when I had the UF1 at the time, it wouldn't follow your screen like this because it wasn't integrated with Pro Tools directly. Which is nice about the console one is they have DOS. I forgot what they or what they call it, like DAW something. I don't know, but it basically just communicates with the DAW a little bit better instead of just relying on the MCU or whatever it's called, um, which I think is what SSL uses. So that was another thing, and I think they fixed it now or had an update where it does follow now. But at the time they didn't. That was just so annoying. And the same thing with here. If I click on the mouse, it'll follow. My controller will follow it at the bare minimum. But yeah, like I said, I don't think I'm going to use the software. I'm going to try to use it just to see what it's about. I think maybe as a standalone plugin, I would probably end up using it and make my own channel strip or something. But as far as like getting it to communicate with this, I just don't see myself doing that because I don't need all that stuff. I don't want to control plugins with hardware. I just think for me personally, it'd be kind of silly, and that would definitely slow me down. Like I don't need to mimic, plugins with hardware or whatever, if that makes sense. For sure that like that's like the big thing where I see on the internet. I'm just like, just use the mouse. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be way quicker. At the end of the day, I think volume for me personally and just getting a balance that is more important for being hands-on or whatever, if that makes sense. But yeah, so anyways, like I said, I'll make a dedicated video. I know it's a little long intro. We'll get to mix in a second. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of do like a little live stream and just kind of show you what it's about or whatever. And like I've said for the millionth time, I'm gonna make a dedicated video on this thing and go through it and talk about it and stuff, and how I would use it and how I like to use faders. And definitely in a couple weeks I'll be way better. But yeah, I want to say, shout out to Softube for making this thing. They didn't send it to me at all. I bought it with my own hard-earned cash or whatever. But just for them for making it and stuff, and they see this, repost it or whatever, that'd be great. Otherwise, use my affiliate links below if you want to buy any plugins. People have been buying stuff through Safari Pedals, so which is cool to see. So I appreciate the people that have been using that. I have a Z Sounds affiliate link, so if you want to buy this through them, that's personally who I use. I don't use Sweetwater. I don't use Guitar Center or anything like that. None of the big guys. I know Z Sounds is still a bigger company, but they're definitely not Sweetwater or whatever, and they're still cool people. They always every time I have questions or stuff, they help me out and stuff. And like I said, I always get my gear from them. Just try to support them a little bit. And then otherwise, I mean, I have this big video thing series coming out that I'm pretty excited about, with the pretty well-known engineer producer, one of my favorites, but just working on some plugins and stuff. So those will be out soon. And then otherwise, yeah, just keep watching my videos. I appreciate you guys showing up. It's been a long time coming with my channel. I feel like it's been like a good year or whatever. But anyways, yeah, let's get to mixing. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out like what was best for the video. I tried to get like a good angle. Like I said, I know this is just a quick little setup. I'll make a way better video that I can edit together and stuff. But just since this is live, maybe I can keep this here. So I don't know. Let's switch to the edit or the mixing window. Maybe let me go to here. Go there. There we go. I think maybe this is a better view. And I felt like this covering the faders is okay since I have the actual faders here. So you don't really need to see that. And then you can see I already kind of went through on this session. Oh yeah. Well, real quick. So this song is already out. It's off of an EP that I mixed like 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. Probably going on 3. But it's by my good friend Liska. She's really good. You should go check her out. If you're in Chicago, go check out some shows and stuff. And yeah, it's a really good song. So I thought it'd be a perfect song. It's got a little bit of everything. Got a lot of synths, some guitars, vocals and stuff. And yeah, so let me move my little picture out the way for a second because I need to see this. So yeah, I'll link her stuff in the thing or in the description below after this video or whatever. But anyways, like I said, the song's called Grapefruit. It's out on all streaming. Go check it out. Mixed, recorded it. I think I mastered it, or Mark Daniel mastered it, or Sterling Sound mastered it. I can't remember who mastered it. But it's out there in the world. Grapefruit, Liska, Liska. Go check her out. And yeah, hopefully the song doesn't get taken down either. But yeah, let's start this mix. So the first thing I like to do, personally, if you've been to my, streams or whatever before or whatever, I'm going to try to work off of OBS too, by the way. So I'm on OBS. So if I'm a little slow, there's a little bit of, there's no latency. It's just kind of weird. So, all right, see, I'm already on the wrong screen. So if I go down here, there we go. Okay. So the first thing I like to do personally is throw on heat. This is an Avid exclusive situation or whatever. It's essentially like the Luna thing where they have built-in tape. Avid's had this feature for a little bit now. And hold on, let me take this one down. And yeah, I like to use it. It's basically just like tape saturation thing. If you are familiar with what's his name? I forgot the guy that made it, but he made the Crane song. He passed away a few years ago. I'm pretty sure. If he didn't pass away, I'm sorry that I said that, but I'm like 90% sure he passed away. But he made the Crane song, or not Crane song. Is it Crane song? I can't remember. Whatever. You can find it out if you'll know. If you know, you know. But yeah, first thing I like to do personally is use the heat. He designed it, built it in to Pro Tools or whatever. So if you don't know what it is, it's just a thing of it only affects audio tracks, so auxiliaries, instrument tracks, master bus, master tracks. It doesn't affect any of that. It's just the audio tracks directly. So my personal setting is 1 notch up on the drive, 1 notch down on the tone. And then that's pretty much it. And let me go back up. Nope. Let me do this. And because I just like to mix into it, basically. So that's the first thing. And then let's go ahead and hide it. Boom. Okay. So let's just find a good loop. And it starts with the chorus. So let me do this. Let me zoom in a little bit. And you can see that I already went through, stemmed everything out. No processing, obviously. I just stemmed out the tracks that were there. Another thing that I like to personally do too is that I like to sum. If I'm going to mix a song, you know, obviously I want control over the stems and stuff. But at the end of the day, I personally don't want all the doubles. I don't want all the background vocals. I think it's easier to just stem them out in sections. So like you can see, like these were a group of 4, these were a group of 4, and like just put them in groups and stem them out. You know what I'm saying? As long as you have control over the notes, assuming that you, like, for instance, this is harmonies, backgrounds or whatever. So these are all different notes. So, you know, just stem them out and make them into some 2 tracks and pop them back in. And obviously make sure you pan them and stuff before you do that, so you get the full width, so your vocals aren't straight up and down. But that's another thing I like to do when I get a session. I like to go ahead and just commit all the groups together, just so I don't have that many tracks. I don't want 100 tracks or whatever. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, no processing, just all the raw stuff. Just rebounced them to make them look nicer, so you don't see all the edits and stuff. So yeah, let's find a section. So heat. Make sure I have a limiter on just for the video, just so it doesn't clip YouTube. Everything else is off on there. And then I'm mixing personally through Cream right now, which is a plugin by Acoustic Audio. It's just a console emulation, basically. I don't know, I just used it like a couple weeks ago or a week ago maybe. I just threw it on and I was like, let me try it. I personally just like whatever this is. I don't know if this means console C, whatever that option is. I just thought this one sounded the best. The other ones were too colored, or I just wasn't hearing anything personally. Especially it just gives, I don't like the dial thing that they do. It's kind of silly. Just like give me a drop down menu or something. But otherwise, yeah. So I'm mixing through that in Heat, and that's pretty much it. Everything else is in Bypass, or I haven't threw any plugins on yet. So let's find a loop, which I have. And I'm going to hit play. All faders are down. And let's just start with drums. And I'll just get a rough balance real quick. And then we'll just go from there. Like I said, I'm going to try not to look at the screen. I'm going to try to just use the faders. Yeah, let's just see what happens. And I just want to make sure that it's not clipping bus. I'm not going to use any like meters or anything like that. Okay, cool. We're good. So I make sure I have enough headroom. I don't know if the clap is in this section, so we'll keep that there. I will say the faders feel really nice. Not that the SSLs didn't feel. I just feel like this is a little bit, slightly more premium in my opinion. I don't know. And these are all live recorded shakers. I remember we used like a ribbon mic and then just an 87 or something, I can't remember. Just to get like a darker shaker, and then we got like a little bit more hi-fi 287. Same thing with tambourines. what I like about mixing with faders too, though, is that like I feel like when you're working with like a mouse or something, it's very easy to just like try to think about it too much or something, and you try to be too perfect. Like maybe you match all the vocals exactly the same level. Like, you know, for instance, as you can see, like, you know, right down here, you can't really see the numbers too well, but you know, if I were to like put this exactly at 14.4 and then maybe this one's exactly at 14, like, you know what I mean? I feel like, what I'm noticing and what I do notice, especially when I've watched videos or I've watched people, when I was an assistant, you know, watching people work on the console, the few times that we had those sessions, uh, you know, I think it was just more of like just throwing faders up and just trying to just, you know, just start mixing. Like, no, you, I mean, obviously with, especially with the real console, you're not, it's not going to be accurate, you know, and you're definitely not going to be able to, fine tune everything. You're not going to see any numbers. So I just think there is something about that that I'm kind of noticing with this, where I'm like, I even caught myself. I'm just like, oh, I need to make this exactly whatever. But it's just like, if it's up, it's up. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's just matters what's going to come out the speakers and how it's going to sound. And I just think that helps with trying to add a little bit more character, like, you know, life to the balance and stuff, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I was thinking of. So let me find like a better picture. Yeah, the only difference, like, you know, that I know for sure, like, you know, back in the day when mixing on a console versus this, is just like, you couldn't do this. You couldn't just loop and then just be like, all right, let me jump to this section. Let me jump. You had to wait for the whole damn song and, you know, try to hopefully, you know, figure out that you're getting up, you know, getting the faders all the way up and stuff. And obviously, you know, the workflow is definitely way quicker for them and a little bit different for them. They probably did just throw up like a medium balance or something, or threw up all the faders halfway and started slowly turning stuff up. But with this, it's like, obviously, since we have a screen and we're able to loop and stuff, and find sections, it's, you know, a little bit different, because you kind of just like, only, at least for me, and then, like I said, I know, you know, this is only on my second day using this, not even a full day, to be honest. I just got it in the mail around this time yesterday. So I think once I get a good 2 weeks on it, I'll be quick and probably throw up all the faders and just start turning stuff down instead, you know. But yeah. If I told you I'm gone, if I told you I'm leaving, ooh, tell me what would you do? If I told you I'm good, if I told you we're good. I'm also mixing in headphones, which I'm a huge advocate of mixing in headphones. I'm not saying it's the best way to do stuff, but I have been trying to mix on my speakers a little bit more. It's kind of hard because sometimes I just mix at my apartment instead of the studio, or a studio. So I'm just using some Auratones right now, which I'll talk about those in another video. They're specific. They're not Auratone from the Auratone company. They're from a company called G-Tone monitors. And yeah, I'll talk about those. But I've been trying to mix with those because there's no bass. Obviously, it's like mostly mid-range, very limited band speakers or whatever. But I noticed that my balances, and, you know, I'm not saying it's specifically these speakers. I'm not saying these are the holy grail speakers or anything, and that you should go buy them. But I'm just saying, I think there is something to say about mixing on a limited, you know, speaker, basically. Like I said, these are like technically actual studio speakers. These aren't, you know, just something off Amazon or something. When I'm saying limited, I'm like, we're designed to be in a studio or live sound at that. But I just think that, yeah, my balance is, I'm like way more confident. I got way more confident quicker than I thought I was, because I was so used to mixing in headphones. And then when I started mixing, I was like, oh, it's probably gonna take me a while to get used to it or whatever. But I was just like, damn, like I got a mix done. It got approved in like 2 mixes or whatever. And I was like, holy shit. And then I put on the headphones and I was like, oh, damn, it sounds like, from what I'm used to hearing in headphones, it sounded balanced and stuff. But also adding this, when I was mixing with this yesterday, because I was like kind of finalizing a song and then just messing around and getting like a balance and stuff, I did notice that my speakers, I don't know, just like, I just got like a really quick balance and stuff. And now I'm almost like, using these less and splitting the difference. So I would use these like 50% of the time, or to check like mouth noises or do any edits and stuff, and then finish everything on the speakers. So I'm just like, once I get my studio together, because I am gonna build the studio out, I know that I'm gonna be in good shape or whatever. But yeah, I just want to throw it out there. I think trying to mix on some speakers like this is definitely, I'm becoming more used to it. You know, it's just me not being able to have like access to a studio all the time, or like the budget's not there. We can't mix in a studio, so I just mix at home and stuff, which is not ideal. I would really love to be in a studio all the time, which is why I'm gonna build a studio again for the millionth time. But yeah, anyways.
If I told you I'm gone, if I told you I'm
All right, let me find a good.
ooh, tell me why.
Cause now I'm like almost not. I was only saying that because now I'm like almost not confident in mixing headphones. I'm so used to speakers now. But whatever, it's just a demo. This isn't like legit. Yeah. I will say it's legit. I don't want to say it's a demo because I am gonna try. I am trying.
If I told you I cared.
And then just a little background on these. I recorded these vocals with my Manly microphone that I used to have, the cardioid, the hyper or whatever it was called, the red and black one. I used to have that, and I actually had a really exclusive one. Not gonna lie, it was Chris Cornell's, or not his specific one, but it was one of his producers in Nashville. I bought it from him, and he recorded a couple songs on there or whatever at a certain point, or they would cut vocals on time, something like that. But he was involved somehow, so there was a little bit of magic in that microphone. I sold it though, just because I didn't have a studio anymore. But and then I'm pretty sure we recorded that definitely through the Neve 1073, and then most likely at that time of recording this song, we probably used a distressor. And it looks like I didn't hit it too hard because I can see that it's a little not as dynamic, or yeah, it's a little dynamic and too dynamic in some spots now that I'm listening back. So I probably wasn't hitting it too hard, or for some reason maybe we just didn't use a compressor. I'm not sure. Maybe we were just rolling quick, and I was just like, let's just get a good preamp and vocal sound or whatever. But just a little background on those.
If I told you I care, if I told you I need you, oh, could you please pretend? If I told you I care, told you I care.
And then just a little background on the drums. Obviously, you can see or hear it's just a drum loop. So no real control over that besides a bunch of percussion. And then I think, yeah, there's a clap, like a single clap right here. Why can't we hear? Oh, it's muted. Right? Oh, it's because I had a solo. See, gotta get used to the controller. Alright, let's get these vocals in. Want to kind of get a good feel for these.
Could you please pretend? If I told you I care,
a good tip for me that I learned or like heard when I was learning about all this stuff is that someone said a good way to get a quick balance with drums and a vocal or whatever, or just get a good vocal balance, is that just imagine like the snare or whatever you're using, whatever is going to play that snare, or whether it's a clap or something, to kind of try to picture it smashing down on the vocal, if that makes sense. So like if you had like a snare and you're hitting somebody's head, I guess, on top of it, if you could visualize that as you're bringing up the vocal, that'll get you like in the ballpark for like a good vocal volume or whatever. So I've always done that. I've always, like, every time I'm bringing up the vocal, I always think about that, and it just helps me get like visually and audibly, I can see and hear like the vocal being mixed in or whatever. So I don't know, kind of goofy, but thought it was important.
Could you please pretend? If I told you I care, if I told you I care.
cancel solo here, right? Nope. Yeah, I gotta get used to this, so let's take.
Could you please pretend if I told you I care? If I told you I care, and the truth, could you please pretend if I told you I care?
All right, now let's. What I like to do is, I'm sure everybody works this way too. Just jump to the verse now. Start getting the verse up and stuff. Okay. Let's do vocal. I know you know me better than that, girl. Don't go pretending you own the whole world. You should have some sensory guitars.
With me in my head. I think it's been a whole year since we met. I know you know me better than that, girl. Don't go pretending you own the whole world. You tell me that I don't need to worry, trying to heal my heart in a hurry. I know you know me better than that, girl. Don't go pretending you own the whole world.
Guitars.
Are you messing with me in my head? I think it's been a whole year since we met. I know you know me better than that, girl. Don't go pretending you own the whole world. You tell me that I don't need to worry, trying to heal my heart in a hurry. I know you know me better than that, girl. Don't go pretending you own the whole world. Are you messing with me in my head? I think.
Whoa.
Are you messing with me?
Oh, I was like, what the hell happened? Wait. This is all live, people.
Are you messing with me in my
Oh, good.
head? I think it's been
We didn't want that
a
bounce
whole year
anyway.
since we met. I know you know me better than that.
I think what throws me off a little bit trying to get used to this is like, this is mostly on all controllers. It's like which I get why they're trying to do it, but the screen doesn't align with the fader, which I guess you don't expect to technically now thinking about it, but it is kind of hard to, which I had trouble with the SSL stuff too. Like I said, the screen's not aligned with the section of the channel, so it's kind of like mentally getting used to how controllers are set up that way and trying to find the correct mute and balance or mute bypass or whatever. And then I think we recorded guitars through Reverb Twin. I'm pretty sure that's what we used.
Are you messing with me in my head? I think it's been a whole year since we met. I know you know me better than that, girl. Don't go pretending you own the whole world. You tell me that I don't need to worry, trying to heal my heart in a hurry. I know you know me better than that.
These in real
I
quick.
know you know me better than that, girl. Don't go pretending you own the whole world. You tell I know you know me better than that, girl. Don't go pretending you own the whole world. You tell me that I don't need to worry, trying to heal.
There.
I know you know me better than that, girl. Don't go pretending you own the whole world.
Cool.
I know you know me better than that, girl. Don't go pretending you own the whole world. I know you know me better than that, girl. Don't go pretending you own the whole world.
I'm gonna find a better balance for this guitar.
Are you messing
They're a little
with me
weird because they don't play
in my
too
head? I
much,
think
but like
it's
they're
been
kind
a
of
whole year
texture,
since we met. I know you know me better than that, girl.
just
Don't go
they're just kind of there for like ear candy. Let's turn these down.
trying to heal my heart in a hurry. I know you know me better than you messing with me in my
Another thing that's kind of weird about this is like, I gotta figure out, unless it's not possible yet or at all, is how to break a select. Because if you have, because obviously, like, let's say I mute 4 at a time, it's going to select those 4, like put it in select mode, which is good because we want it to know that Pro Tools is selected on there. But let's say like I had these 4 tracks selected. If I have multiple tracks selected at once and I hit, I don't know, track 8, like if I had 1 through 4 selected basically, and I wanted to select 8, you can't, or no, sorry, fuck, I'm fucking up. If I had 1 through 4 selected and I wanted to select track 2 out of those 4, you can't just select it and it breaks the rest. It doesn't do anything. So if you want to break that, you have to select a different track outside of those 4 and then reselect 2. At least that's the way that I've found. It's not the biggest deal, but I don't know if there's like not a way to break it because it's just the controller itself. Obviously, it's not anything in Pro Tools or whatever. Yo, what up? Doxy Thrash, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. But anyways, yeah, so like I need to figure out like a way to break that select if I wanted to do that. Like I said, if there is a way, or if anybody's watching or anybody sees this in the future and knows before I figure it out, please let me know. But otherwise, yeah, I think that's a little funky, is that I can't just break a select. I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm kind of just I'm working here. We're live. All right. Oh yeah. But anyway, so the reason I brought that up is because I want to pan this. But to pan, obviously you got to select the track first, which, you know, that's any DAW. You got to select track first, so you can see that. You can see it's jumping on Pro Tools or whatever. So like if I can show you an example, if I had like these 4 select at the same time, I can't just go, like if I wanted to select the guitar bus right now, I can't just select it because it still thinks that I want all of those 3 selected. So if I wanted to select the guitar bus, I have to like select a random track that's not selected, then go back, and then it breaks that, and then it lets you select it. I don't know, does that make sense? But anyways, you gotta select it because I want to pan it. So let's pan that.
Don't go pretending you own the whole world. Are you losing with me in my head? I think it's been a whole year since we
It is pan, okay.
in a hurry. I know you know me better than that, girl. Don't go pretending you own the whole world. Are you losing with me in my head? I think
All right.
it's been a
So yeah, I don't know.
whole year
I
since
feel like for a balance, it's decent. You know what I'm saying? It's not the best. I don't even think I got everything in though yet. Hold up. Oh yeah, the ending. Stack
I
record.
told you I
It's like
care.
a synth solo or something. Yeah. Synth solo. Here we go. That's a good way to Alright, cool. So now at this point, we got our balance after we talked for a really long time.
If I told you I care, if I told you I need you,
Actually, let me start with
could you
synth.
please pretend? If I told you I care, am I dreaming that it's only you and me? If I told you I'm gone, if I told you I'm leaving, ooh, tell me what would you do? If I told you I'm good, if I told you we're good,
at this point, I would now just throw in my mix bus and stuff. Let's get these doubles though, real quick. Is there a more consistent? Here, I guess.
Oh, could you please pretend if I told you I cared? Oh, could you please pretend if I told you I cared? Oh, could you please pretend if I told you I cared? Oh, could you please pretend if I told you I cared? Oh, could you please pretend if I told you I cared? Oh, could you please pretend if I told you I cared? Oh, could you please pretend if I told you I cared? Oh, could you please pretend if I told you I cared? Oh, could you please pretend if I told you I cared? Oh, could you don't go pretending you on the whole. Don't go pretending you on the whole world. 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 Don't go pretending you. Don't go pretending you on the whole world. You took me that I don't. Don't go pretending you on the whole world. Don't go pretending you on the whole world. Don't go pretending you on the whole world.
Oh wait, I'm tripping. Bruh, see this is throwing me off.
Can't you tell I want you, I need you? Can't you tell I want you, I need you? Saying you're the one that I'm into. 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 Saying you're the one.
Just a little. Let me talk. Alright, so yeah, at this point, let's find the most loudest part. And then I'm just going to throw a bus compressor on. And this is, yeah, but this is about the time I would throw it on, basically. Once I get a good balance and stuff, and then just start fine-tuning levels into that or whatever. Like I said, it's just a rough balance, just trying to get some faders up, get a feel for the track and stuff, and feel where it's at or whatever. So I mentioned this in my last video. I just got this like Tom Elmhurst setup kind of thing saved or whatever. So
If I told you I care, if I
let's do
told
this.
you
Add.
oh, could you please pretend if I told you I care, if I told you I care? Am I dreaming that it's only you and me? If I told you I'm gone.
So yeah, I mean, pretty much what I learned from my understanding and how he works or whatever, he's just explained that he likes to add a little bit of input if his mix does drop, which in this case it did, and that's just because it's at 0, so it's going to naturally bring the whole song down. And then he does that because he likes to add with the input, and then it gives him headroom if he needs to back off the mix as he's mixing and starts to get louder, if he's like not realizing or starts to hear that he's pumping the bus compressor too much, then he likes to have the headroom, and then he can dial this input back instead of messing with the threshold or whatever, but or vice versa, I guess. But yeah, I mean, working with this way though, I've yet to do that. Like, I really don't ever go past 2, and that's another thing too. He's like, if you're mixing, I don't know, at a pretty reasonable level or something, and the way he explained it is that he never really goes past 2. And ever since I started doing that, and I noticed that, like, I really know it, sometimes it'll hover like right at 2, maybe at its peaks, but my mixes never really go past 2. So I don't know, it's just a quick little explanation or whatever. There's a video out there that he explains on Manly's channel.
If I told you I care, if I told you I need you, oh, could you please
I'll
pretend?
just throw
If
on
I told
this.
you I care,
And I like to use
if I told you I
Mog K comp or whatever it's called, or Magnum K. I don't know why I always call it K comp, or I guess it's because of this. But this is just a preset I have. It's kind of like a Pultec happy face kind of thing, 2.5 or 3 dB, both on the low end and top end right here. I don't know why I went that way. Low end, I like to use the tight Q or whatever, so at 40 hertz, and then 3 at 40K. And this is kind of just like putting a shape on my overall mix and something that I want to mix into, because this is what the overall tone that I'm chasing, instead of having to do it on individual tracks or like within the mix. This is kind of just helps me get there a lot quicker, or like give me the feeling that that's what we're shooting for. And I don't know, it just makes me happy, and then I don't need to, because smiley face EQ, I don't need to work on the mix as hard or whatever. I don't know. It's just kind of like it's just a good starting point, if that's what you're going for. But you can kind of use this, technique to just shape the mix right from the start, and then you don't have to do as much later on. Something I got from Andrew Sheps. And then let's see, this should be the tape. Yep. So tape, same thing. I like to mix in tape every now and then. It's rare that I take this off my mix bus, but this is just a low end bump again. But the tape is doing it differently. I have a whole explanation. You can go check out that video. I think it's literally the last video that I dropped on my mix bus. And then the way that I set this up or whatever from a preset is that it's just kind of rolling off the top end. Something different than what an EQ would do. And then the digital V3, we'll go ahead and throw that on too. I just like throwing my mix bus. I've been working this way lately. I just think that I'm thinking less in the mix or whatever, if that makes sense. And then same thing, I have the bass shift off, which is something I started doing, and it's at most it's been like 2 dB, but I'll keep it off until the end, because it's kind of like a finishing touch, and that's only if I need it. It's not something that I'm automatically going to throw on and mix into that. It's just there as an extra thing if I do need that, if that makes sense. But otherwise, it's only adding, and I got this from Andrew Sheps as well. It's just adding a 3 dB boost from 8K all the way up. This EQ just sounds like a little bit different. It's a little bit more cleaner and a little bit more hi-fi, in my opinion, or that's what I get from it. And then what else? And then just SSL meters, which we didn't use. And then, like I said, I explained this in the beginning of the video, just the limiter, shouldn't be anything on there, and a little bit of imaging. 3 is the most I ever use on this. I think this imager is one of the best imagers. This is even the old Ozone 9 or whatever elements. I'm not even using the Pro version. I just use it for the limiter. I like the limiter. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then now we can just start really going in there and mixing in stuff. So
I told you I care, if I told you
go ahead and solo up these drums. Let's see. I mean, it's a loop, so it's like kind of processed already, but I don't know. If I'm going to do any kind of thing, maybe I'll do a little bit of J channel. Look at that, it already got brighter. That's because my preset is default. Turn up the THD. Not that big of a difference. We'll do that. And let me get rid of my faders for this, just because we don't really need it. Oops, we don't need it that much. Oh, not me. There we go. And then now it won't be in the way. Cool. So let's just clean up. I'm so used to the UAD one, but I want to use this for drums. There's a little bit of ring on the kick thing. We'll just do that just to be safe. Let's just do that. Just do that for now. Because like I said, it's like a loop already. You don't need to process everything. You know what I'm saying? This is most likely probably from like Splice or something, I would assume. So they're doing their whole little processing, and especially the producer that made it or whatever. So, but But yeah, like I said, this is like an instance where like I wouldn't use, just doesn't make sense for me to continue to use the controller. Like at this point, I got my balance. This is what I want to use it for. At this point, then the next time I'm going to use it, I mean, I'm probably going to be banking with it or something. I don't know. But I just don't see why people are like forcing that for themselves to like get these things and then start using it and be like, all right, I want to use the mouse anymore. It's like, if you're going to do some editing and stuff, just use, there's nothing, just use the mouse. You were using it before you got the controller. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just because you got it now doesn't mean you need to stop using it. But that's what I noticed a lot on these videos and stuff. And it's like, oh, I returned it, or it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's just how it was. It's never, these things are never going to be a console unless you get something like the Avid S6 or the S1, where you do have, and even at that, you still got to, just like the SSL stuff, you still got to program all the plugins to link up with the controller and stuff. And at least the Avid one is pretty good about automatically doing it. It seems like it's a little bit more easier to do that way. I want to say automatically. I don't know. I've never used the S series, just the Avid Artist Mix or whatever, and the old D commands and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. It's just like trying to chase a workflow that doesn't make sense for the modern workflow, if that makes sense. I don't know. That's what I think about it. But yeah, it's just like, why? Just use the computer now. You know what I'm saying? Let's do this. I'll probably bring in the vocal just to do this.
Please pretend if I told you I care, if I told you I care.
Now for this, I'll probably fine tune the bass just a little bit.
If I told you I'm gone, if I told you
like
I'm leaving, oh, tell me what would you do if I told you I'm good, if I told you we're good? Am I dreaming that it's only you and me? If I told you I care, if I told you I need you, oh, could you please pretend? If I told you I care, if I told you I care. Am I dreaming that it's only you and me? If I told you I'm gone, if I told you I'm leaving, oh, tell me what
Yeah, I'm not gonna add that much.
if I told you
I do like the black box for like loops and stuff. I think that it just kind of brings them to life, especially like this. Like I said, this is most likely from like Splice or something. So I also think that, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes their loops and stuff get a little degraded when they like use their thing. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I always do feel like their stuff is a little bit more degraded in sound and stuff. I mean, I can definitely hear it, but and especially when it's like being manipulated and stretched out and repitched and all that stuff, you know, the quality can get degraded a little bit. So I always like to use something like the black box to kind of bring it to life. I mean, I use it on drums in general, but if I need to like make something sound a little bit more hi-fi, I'll definitely, you know, throw this in there. But I'm not going to use the air because we already have a bunch of percussion, and I'm not trying to chase a bright sound, especially at this point. Like, trying to tame yourself from adding too much top end, because that is what you want to hear. And when you add it, that is what sounds good, I guess, to your ear. So it is very easily to start like adding a little bit of top end here and there and stuff. And it's like, if you can just like hold off and just get the mix solid and then think about adding some top end and stuff, especially if the song does call for it. Like, this is like a pop song, so maybe the vocals will leave all the top end for like the vocals and stuff. You just want to make sure that you're just doing it correctly, not doing it just to do it. You know what I'm saying?
If I told you I care, if I told you I need you, oh, could you please pretend? If I told you I care, if I told you I care. Am I dreaming that it's only you and me? If I told you I'm gone, if I told you I'm leaving, oh, tell me what would you do if I told you I'm good, if I told you we're good?
like using dynamic EQs. Obviously, you can do the same thing with a compressor, but I feel like with dynamic EQs, you get a little bit more. You get a little bit more in there, you know what I'm saying, and really hone in on frequencies or notes and stuff. I just always think of multi-band compression as more of an overall, like, bigger, like, sections that you can control. And obviously, you know, it's going to be, you know, it's compressing versus this dynamic EQ is just bringing it down instead of just compressing or whatever, like musically or whatever. I just think that this can be nice for taming certain notes and stuff like that instead of reaching for like a multi-band.
If I told you I care, if I told you I need you, oh, could you please pretend? If I told you I care, if I told you I care, am I dreaming that it's only you and me? If I told you I'm gone, if I told you I'm leaving, oh, tell me what would you do? If I told you I'm good, if I told you we're good, am I dreaming that it's only you and me? If I told you I care, if I told you I need
maybe like 30. I know it's a lot. I'll do 30, but I'll
pretend. If I told you I care,
like 24.
if I told you I care, am I dreaming that it's only
then I'll use this
you and me?
LA2A. This is
If
kind
I
of like
told you
my compressor that's gonna like really, you know, grab onto it and just hold it down, you know, especially for this such like, it's like a, you know, it's a synth patch bass or whatever, so it's kind of all over the place with this frequencies and stuff, just because it's like oscillating and stuff. This would definitely come in handy with kind of just holding everything down and be like, you know, stay in place basically. Don't pop out too much in the mix.
If I told you I care, if I told you
But we gotta watch those low notes. As you can hear, they started to get like really sucked in.
if I told you I care, if I told you I need you, oh, could you please pretend? If I told you I care, if I told you I care, am I dreaming that it's only you and me? If I told you I'm gone, if I told you I'm leaving, oh, tell me what would you do? If I told you I'm good, if I told you we're good, am I dreaming that it's only you and me? If I told you I care, if I told you I need you, oh, could you please pretend? If I told you I care, if I told you I care, am I dreaming that it's only you and me? If I told you I'm gone, if I told you I'm leaving, oh, tell me what would you do? If I told you I'm good, if I told you we're good, am I dreaming that it's only you and me? If I told you I care, if I told you
Just don't really.
I told you I care, if I told you I need you, oh, could you please pretend? If I told you I care, if I told you I care, am I dreaming that it's only you and me? If I told you I'm gone, if I told
It's like poking out too much because I'm processing it. Not even there. It's like. whatever. I'm starting to mix a little bit, but anyways, I'm gonna make an actual video with this song mixing. But shit, I just kind of wanted to go live and like I said, just get this like showing off a little bit. I don't know. I was kind of bored sitting at home. I was like, before I make this video, let me just do a little live stream for this or whatever. But oh wait, I don't even have the thing on. Whoops. But yeah, just kind of wanted to show this off a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And but yeah, like I said, if you tuned in or if you see this in the future, yeah, I appreciate you. And like I said, video coming out on this. I'm gonna do a mix video on this song. We'll be moving a lot quicker than what we did here because we're an hour. We'll get the mix done in like 30 minutes or whatever. I don't know, however long it takes, but it won't be an hour. And then yeah, so video on this, mix coming soon, more plugin, some big collabs coming through, which should be kind of crazy once we get those finalized and stuff. And then yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. So yeah, like I said, if you want to buy any plugins, anything like that, use my affiliate link and all that stuff, and then we'll go from there. Appreciate it. Peace.